Seems to be a lot of hot button issues out there at the moment, Brooke.
Just a few.
Let's get personal. Is there an issue that you believe strongly in, but people might be quite divided on?
We jokingly talked before we started filming about cars. You know, people have different ideas about different cars. But honestly, one thing that I find actually I have to be a little bit careful with is my opinions about entertainment and what sorts of entertainment I actually let myself enjoy or actually watch or read or whatever, and also how much time I give to that. So I have to keep my opinions a little bit on the down low sometimes, depending on who I'm with, and
could be a bit confronting for people.
A little bit. Yes.
Yeah, well, I have a few views on education that might not be good to talk about too openly within certain settings. You know, what's best for kids and the way things are done. I think any time, you know, we bring these things into conversation in the wrong setting, can end in a rather heated debate, which I often will try and avoid.
I also think too, for that one in particular, being a teacher, I think I'm really careful about discussing sorts of questions about how things are going for education, simply because I don't want to undermine the confidence of my children in their education either. I think we have to be really careful about how we actually discuss things, just so that the people around us who are listening in don't find themselves doubting the best efforts that others are putting in.
But many issues, very divisive, hot button issues. We're not afraid to tackle that today though. So let's get into it. I think what's unfortunate about these divisive issues is we're afraid to talk about them. I think often healthy dialogue is what's needed. Brooke, have you felt the times where there's something that needs to be talked about, but everyone's sort of skirting around the elephant in the room?
Oh yeah, like we all have those situations, and then you know, we need to work out, well, what's the best way in to open that discussion without being like high and mighty, or, you know, holier than thou, or any of those sorts of things. And that's really hard to do. We have to actually come in with almost a questioning mindset, don't we? I liked what Pastor Carl of Catalyst said recently, which was, you know, we have to seek to understand and see it as a growth opportunity to actually ask, well, help me to understand how you feel about this, or what you're thinking. Because unless we actually understand, we can't really continue to talk healthily.
Help me understand.
Yeah.
Why do you think that?
Yeah.
One of the problems also, I think, is even when we do have these conversations, we're often not listening to what the other's saying. We're ready to present our point of view, we're ready to defend our position, but the listening, I think, is what's key.
Guilty. Often. And it's a growing process. I think we have to be gentle with ourselves too, don't we? Like that whole thing of like, oh well, I am still learning how to do this conversing thing and to actually get to healthier places. We're all still growing.
Listen to those other perspectives on the same issue. Can help us really understand a bigger picture. None of us, I think, see the whole picture. And I've learned that definitely this year in new experiences I've had and meeting different people. I think there's a large proportion of people that are still making up their minds on any one issue though. I think these people are looking to listen in and try to figure it out, but more than just hearing people talk about an issue and why they believe what they do, I think people are looking for a couple more things. How does this affect me, and can you prove to me, can you show me in some way that the truth of what you're saying? I want to see it in action, because anyone can talk about an issue, anyone can say things and sound convincing, but I think we often want to look beyond that. Can you show me really in practice why that is? Brooke, what are you looking for on an issue where you're still making up your mind? How do you decide if it's which side to go with?
Good question, Tom. I think really it's a sense of I guess a little bit of logic sometimes, but then logic can only take you so far.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I was just sort of saying to somebody this morning in church, afterwards we were talking, and I sort of said, the way that person lives their life tells me that they understand what the scripture is saying to them. Like, so for me, I can see that person stepping through things and walking through life and making decisions based on scripture, and so I can see, that is actually
that
good
seems to be
wisdom.
working.
Yeah, so that for me helps.
Alternatively, if there's a mismatch between what someone says and the way that they're actually living, people are very wary of that.
Yes, for sure. Yes.
So I think the way we can see if something is worth listening to has to come from the way people are acting. If people are out there protesting violently and just going about things the wrong way, I think that really taints their point of view.
Yeah, that's true.
A healthy, respectful conversation and dialogue, I think I can get on board with that a lot more.
Yeah, I think that speaks into the fact that if we force someone's will, it goes against our very basic God-given right, well, not right, but our God-given free will. And so when somebody then tries to force their will upon us, there is a very natural, very right,
absolutely.
What do you call it? Like an opposition to that. So that's why Jesus came as he did. He came to serve. He came to love gently. He was very forthright in some of his things that he said, but he was doing that from the place of living it out. So he had the ability to say, hey, no, this is the way we go. It's better to give than to receive, and he was definitely showing us that he was giving all he could, So, I think we actually gain a certain authority, perhaps, to speak into things or to give our opinions if we're actually able to back it up with our own willingness to do what we're saying should be done.
Once we show that we're there for the person first.
Yeah, I think.
So why do you think people are so divided, Brooke?
I think we've all got different places we've come from, right? Like we've got different experiences, positive, negative, somewhere in between, things that haven't been proven to us, things that have been proven to us by somebody else's actions or whatever, and so it gets messy.
It does.
Messy.
Yep, people have those experiences. They go somewhere, have a bad experience, and they leave that alone.
Yes.
And often you don't want to revisit those things that weren't pleasant for you. Someone else may have the same situation but have a very different experience, and these are tricky things. I think listening's great.
Yeah.
However, do you think it's okay to ever try and convince somebody that they're wrong about something?
Ooh, convincing someone they're wrong, I think, is really a bit
strong?
Yeah, I think we can encourage people to see things a little differently. I mean, we see that, when we're trying to encourage people who don't normally public speak to actually get up and do public speaking. We know that actually there's probably not much negative that's going to happen to you, but it's still a real fear for some people.
Yep.
So it's only as we gently walk alongside someone and try to show a different way or encourage them through. Maybe it's not for public speaking, maybe it's any other number of things, but we gently come alongside one another and we just live out our experiences and show that it can be different.
Yep. I think if it's real and it's true, and if we have experienced the truth of it, just live that out. Just share your experiences. And I think if it's something that somebody else needs to experience as well, we do that gently.
Yeah.
I don't think it's our place to ever try and force something on somebody else. But if people are ready, they'll come to us. So thank you for listening. Maybe we've got points of view that are different to yours. Maybe you've got a question that you'd like us to discuss, a hot topic perhaps. Not afraid to talk about it, are we, Brooke?
Tom's not afraid to talk about it.
So please let us know what you want to address, and we'll have a go. But join us in a Zoom call,
Yeah.
and in that smaller forum, be happy to have those conversations with you. But otherwise, we'll see you next time.
Bye.